Hi guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to the second part of our session. Nuevamente, pues la bienvenida de mi parte en ese segundo bloque a ese ciclo del B1.5. Súper importante, bueno, estoy segura que ya hablaron de todos esos aspectos con la profe, la doctora Daniela, ya que estamos a puertas del B2, lo que no es cualquier cosa. ¿Listo? Como siempre, seguir con su trabajo arduo, continuo. Vemos evidentemente la progresión. Y la idea es que eso se mantenga. O sea, ya están pasando a un nivel de ser usuarios mucho más independientes del uso de la lengua, que se vea todo un range de diferentes posibilidades al momento de comunicar, sino quizás estilo básico, ¿por qué no? También quería como darles mi punto de vista desde este cambio que ya estamos a punto de presenciar y nada, seguir trabajando fuertemente. También la bienvenida de mi parte a Janini, quien ahora también pertenece a este grupo que muy probablemente ya notó que es un excelente nivel. Estoy segura que no va a ser nada diferente en su caso. Y bueno, antes de arrancar, más bien de continuar con lo que ya venían trabajando con el inicio de la unidad 5, pues desde mi parte, aguas del ciclo pasado, realmente, compartir como esos parámetros administrativos de qué es lo que vamos a estar trabajando en mi parte, por decirlo así. Obviamente, Daniel y yo trabajamos de forma conjunta, siempre estamos como informándonos de qué es lo que ocurre en los bloques. Ella es la docente titular, obviamente, pero pues no es que estemos trabajando separadas, ni mucho menos. También para compartirle como a Yanini por el momento que viene siendo la persona nueva por ahora. En mi caso, pues nos vamos a encontrar de 8 a 9 y 50. Yo siempre doy como esos 2 minuticos de inicio. Sé que no parece mucho, pero pues les da la oportunidad para ingresar. En algunos casos, a veces como que se demora un poquito en arrancar la sesión. Entonces, quiero pensar que esos 2 minutos les da un poquito más de esperanza, por decirlo así. Pero obviamente la intención es ser lo más puntuales posible, como siempre. Eh, Después de unos minutos, yo siempre arranco recordando un par detalles. Vas a tomar asistencia. Recuerden que eso se hace dentro de los primeros 15 minutos. Puede que lo haga a las 8 y 5, puede que lo haga a las 8 y 10, 8 y 12, pero pues dentro de ese rango. Después de los 15 minutos, pues como ustedes saben, ya marca como falle. No es de mala fe ni mucho menos, simplemente pues siguiendo una de las directrices del proyecto que es hay que ser puntuales para no entrar en detalles. Conmigo, ¿cuáles son los componentes en términos de nota que se saca, por decirlo así? Uno viene siendo parte del porcentaje del componente de quizzes, como ustedes recordarán, voy a decir, digamos, en el primer bloque, aunque ustedes lo saben desde mucho antes, el componente de quizzes tiene un valor del 40%. Entonces, siempre ese porcentaje se saca lo que trabajan con la docente titular, que es Laura Daniela, y lo que trabajan conmigo. En algunos casos no. Básicamente yo escojo de las actividades que realicemos en clase cuáles son las que van a ser parte de ese componente evaluativo. Igual todas se revisan, tanto individuales como de trabajo colaborativo van a ser tomadas. ¿Listo? Entonces no quiero que sientan que solo las que sean individuales van a ser las que tienen nota. Obviamente no es así. Eh, Siempre lo hago de esta manera. Les comparto un PowerPoint compartido. Usualmente cuando es trabajo independiente, cada uno tendrá una diapositiva. Cuando es trabajo colaborativo, pues cada grupo tiene una diapositiva. Entiendo que en algunos casos por logística, lo que sea, pronto en el momento no pueden llenar la información en la diapositiva, pero entonces sí los invito a que de pronto tengan la información aparte, de pronto en otro documento, de tal manera que cuando tengan la oportunidad lo pasen. Esta oportunidad, por decirlo así, no puede pasar del día inmediatamente siguiente. Entonces, por ejemplo, hoy vamos a hacer una actividad precisamente arrancando que es colaborativa. Si de pronto no alcanzaron a subir toda la información, hoy tienen plazo esta mañana a las 6 de la tarde. Ya después de las 6 de la tarde, le cambio la configuración para que ustedes solo puedan ver los comentarios, eventualmente las correcciones se aplican. ¿Listo? Ya después no se puede hacer la edición. Entonces, quienes no lo hagan, pues la nota infortunadamente va a ser 0 y eventualmente eso va a ir a computarse con las otras notas que también obtenga Laura Daniela. Entonces, ese es el primer componente de notas que sale conmigo, por decirlo así. El otro componente de notas viene siendo el speaking final, que se realiza en la última sesión del ciclo y viene siendo en el segundo bloque. En el primer bloque viene siendo la parte escrita, que bueno, como estamos llegando al final, ya Laura les contó que viene siendo la prueba estándar, que es similar a un PET, básicamente, pero ya hablaremos de eso la otra semana, básicamente, porque nuestro ciclo como corre tanto. En mi caso, la parte del speaking mantiene los parámetros básicos, por decirlo así, que viene siendo una parte individual y una parte de interacción. Yo siempre aclaro que estas no son las preguntas, ni mucho menos, simplemente lo que uso como manera de ambientar, por decirlo así, cómo se maneja ese día, de alguna manera, en la dinámica del speaking. Siempre se trabaja en grupo, pues para la parte colaborativa, pero la nota siempre es individual, siempre lo será. ¿Listo? Esta nota se obtiene de una rúbrica que la vamos a encontrar acá en esta carpeta que es donde comparto con ustedes el material y diferentes instructivos. Yo sé que con la profe Laura Daniela también tienen esa información, pero pues llegamos a la conclusión de que ambas compartimos toda esa información administrativa para que no haya como pierde, por decirlo así. Llegado el caso que no se acuerden de una cosa, la otra también tiene la información. Les envío el link de esta carpeta por acá por ahora. Mañana, digamos que oficialmente les enviaré un correo diciendo, este es el material o más bien esta presentación que les estoy compartiendo. Aquí están los links para que puedan acceder. Uno, a donde voy a estar subiendo los materiales que uso en clase, los instructivos. Por el momento, el formato del speaking está en blanco. Eventualmente, la próxima semana jugaremos a lo mismo, que es decidir cómo quedan los grupos, por decirlo así. Y también en esta presentación, también les comparto, al igual que Laura Daniela, el link que lo lleva a este documento que tiene los links de las grabaciones. Todas las sesiones van a generar 2 links, ¿listo? Ya que como ustedes se dan cuenta, se cierra una sesión y luego para el segundo bloque se arranca otra. Nunca será un solo bloque, por decirlo así. Entonces aquí van a encontrar como ambas partes en caso que lo requieran. También acá les comparto nuevamente para que lo tengan a la mano en esta sección igualmente, en los diferentes correos, desde la coordinación y bueno, finalmente, pues los aspectos a tener en cuenta que probablemente son cosas muy básicas, me atrevo a decir, pero súper esenciales. La puntualidad, obviamente asegurarnos de estar conectados a tiempo, respetar lo que es la clase. Al momento de hacer una intervención, levantar la mano. Si varios hablan al tiempo, no se entiende, es imposible entender. Y bueno, siempre como respetar los tiempos de la clase para hacer la actividad asignada. Es un trabajo colaborativo es porque todos están trabajando. En algunos casos yo les digo, escojan quién va a presentar, en algunos casos escojo yo. Y a veces pasa que preciso la persona que escogí de pronto no estuvo tan activa en el grupo y pues obviamente la idea es que eso no ocurra. ¿Listo? Y bueno, guys, obviamente nuevamente de mi parte, darle la bienvenida. Simplemente quería como compartir muy rápidamente esos aspectos administrativos, nuevamente como les contaba, de lo que vamos a estar trabajando en el segundo bloque y digamos de lo que soy responsable en términos del componente calificativo. Quisiera saber, guys, si tienen alguna pregunta. Mientras tanto voy buscando la asistencia.
No, it is clear.
Okay.
No, teacher, question.
Perfecto. Cualquier pregunta al correo. Entonces me dispongo a tomar asistencia y oficialmente después de eso pues arrancamos ya lo que es contenido. Saraya Acevedo.
Present, teacher.
Ok. Joelia Ayala.
Here, teacher.
Listo. Andrea Vaca.
Present, teacher.
Ok. Gilbert Cárdenas.
I'm here, teacher.
Ok. John Carrero.
Good evening, teacher. I'm here.
Ok. Brian Cordero.
Hello, teacher.
Ok. Stephanie Córdoba.
Present, teacher.
Ok. Silvia Alejandra Durán.
Present, teacher.
Ok. Freddy Fonseca.
I'm here.
Ok. Julie Lisette Liscano. Okay, looks like Julie is not here. Not yet. Let's continue. Diana Lisette Lozada.
Present, teacher.
Ok. Daniela Lozada. Ok. Escucho muy lejos. Andrea Juliana Muñoz.
I'm here, teacher.
Ok. Natalie Joana Pérez.
I'm here, teacher.
Ok. Mayra Juliet Pinzón.
Present.
Ok. Mayra Alejandra Plata.
Hi, teacher. I'm here.
Ok. Harold Rodríguez. Bueno, acabo de ingresar. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Janine Giselle Sánchez.
Hello, it's me.
Ok. Angélica Stephanie.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Daniela Fernanda.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Daniela. Ana María Velasco.
Hi, teacher. I'm here.
Ok. And Jennifer Jimena Vera.
Here, teacher.
Ok. And Harold David Rodríguez.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Harold. So,
I'm here.
okay. So for the moment, the one that is absent tonight is Judy Lisette because Christian already informed the reason why he's absent tonight. Well, that would be it. Let me share the screen with the presentation that I have prepared for tonight. So remember, guys, that then tomorrow I'm going to send you the presentation that I have just used. It's just basically all the general administrative elements. Some of you already know them. For the new ones, you're getting used, to those aspects. And for Janini, who happens to be the new student, well, probably it's like also new information, like to digest. At the end of the day, I'm sure that there won't be any problem. Of course, one thing that I forgot to say, but you already know. In terms of communication, remember that we always use the email. You guys have your WhatsApp group. Of course, you also have your, let's say, well, the person in charge of your group, which is Laura Daniela, and you share the information there. In my case, I don't belong to any WhatsApp groups. Our communication will be using all, let's say, the institutional channels. Let's keep it like that. Well, guys, we have already started working on Unit 5. Let me share the whole screen for a moment. And we're going to continue on the next pages, actually. We're talking about pages 48 and 49. We will be focusing mostly on reading and speaking. I hope that we have enough time to talk about vocabulary. If we don't, let's not worry about it. You would have eventually time to work on that, let's say, autonomously, which is about colloquial language. We will be focusing on the first part that has a little bit of individual component. And of course, as I was already telling you, we will be covering some aspects of collaborative work. These questions that we have in here are the questions that you have at the beginning of the book, well, of the page 48. I'm going to read the first instruction. We're going to divide this part into two parts. First, you will be doing it individually. You're going to read the questions. The idea, guys, is that you're going to take some notes. I know that some of you have like really good memory. So just by looking at the questions, you already have some ideas. But I would invite you to take some notes because there are some aspects like in terms of details that are being asked. Of course, I'm going to ask some of you to share your answers. Probably some of you would like to volunteer. That would be great. But also at the same time, probably I'm going to ask some of you to share your ideas about the information that we have in here. I'm going to read the questions for you. It says, how important are these things in your interaction with other people? Your phone, social networks, networking sites, other forms of online communication. In what ways do you use them? Have these things improved your social life? Why or why not? Of course, as you can imagine, this is going to be the core of tonight's session, talking about the impact that social networking has on our communication. Guys, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to analyze the questions, to analyze the information, and then, as I was telling you, I'm going to ask some of you to share your ideas. So far, do you have any questions about the instructions? No questions?
No,
No, it is
teacher.
No,
clear to me.
teacher, no.
Great. I'm going to turn my camera off, my microphone off as well. I'm here in case that you have any question. Remember, guys, 5 minutes, some volunteers, and of course, some people that I'm going to choose to share your ideas. Let's begin. Okay, guys, thumbs up. As usual, I would like to ask for any volunteers to answer these questions before I actually choose some of you. Let's start with Brian. So what about you?
Hello, teacher. Good night. About me,
Hello.
it's very important because my cell phone is the medium that which I use to manage my finances and to get my professional learning. Also, is the way that I have to communicate with my family in foreign countries.
Okay, that looks important. Brian, do you think that it has improved your social life or has it like kept the same,
Ye-
no changes? What would you think?
Yes, because I had met and I had spoken with persons that I didn't know in the past,
Mhm.
and now we work together in our job groups,
Okay,
and
Brian.
in ways to
Mm.
is too easy or it's easier to get the communication with people that you don't know.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much. Definitely an improvement, absolutely. Gilbert, what about you?
So teacher, I really think that after pandemic, these things like the social life took a very important place in our life because after that I've never tried to, for example, take class, virtual classes after that.
Mhm.
And so nowadays it's like things more normal to take classes online like this. So I think that it took a very important place in our daily life.
Absolutely. Yeah, in the past, this was not like a preferred choice unless it was like a program that was being offered like abroad, but taking like remote sessions, people always like used to prefer face to face. Of course, some people still prefer face to face, but this possibility has actually been more accepted, I would think. Gilbert, I would like to ask you also the same question that I asked Brian. Do you think that the social life has improved that aspect in particular? Gilbert?
Sorry, teacher, can you remind me what's the meaning of improve?
Get better.
Okay, got it. So I think that yes, in most of things, because for example, it is more easy to take some classes and do, or for example, I don't know that kind of children that live far away from the school or things like that, that they can take classes without be face to face. So
No.
and in the case after pandemic, so I don't used to attend
Mhm.
to meetings related with my career, with my thesis. So it's only with these kind of platforms. So I think that that's the big change.
Okay. Yeah, definitely the educational context has gotten like impacts, of course, and it gets easier at the end of the day. Let's see, any other volunteer before I start choosing?
Teacher, me.
I see a hand raised, but someone said me, so I don't know who that was.
Daniela.
Oh,
Daniela. Teacher, I would like to talk about have these things improve your social life. Yes, maybe like my classmate said, after pandemic, social medias improve our interaction. But for me, it's still a traditional talk with meeting include. It's my favorite ways to interaction with other people.
Interact. Okay.
Interact.
So like going to restaurants, like to a cafe,
Exactly.
like there. Okay, good. Thank you, Daniela. Yeah, that is a different perspective. Like it became normal, but at the end of the day, you prefer like the usual one. Let's see the raised hand. Freddy, what about you?
Well, I want to talk about the social networking sites because they have been so useful for everyone. Like, like for me, I has used some of them to improve my English, talking to people from different countries, and there are like many apps or applications available for that. So it has improved my English skills. That's the sample that I wanted to share.
Okay, great. Excellent.
Yes, sorry, I think the same too. So I remember when I just started to learn English, I didn't like it because, for example, things like speak, I turned very nervous and I didn't can, or I wouldn't speak in English. So I now I'm trying with that kind of apps, and I think that it's a little bit different because now I don't feel too nervous before. So it's a nice things, tools to learn or improve your English skills.
Absolutely. And you know, guys, everything that you consider is helpful for your learning process is great. Some people don't like the apps. Some people prefer like, video games. Some people prefer movies, whatever suits you, I wouldn't tell you that only one strategy is the best. That would be a huge lie. One of the things that we discussed on our previous cycle was talking about the different mental skills that exists, and everything is perfect. I like all the strategies. Personally, I would prefer reading, but that's my strategy. So whatever suits you guys, use it. That would be it. Daniela and then Janine. Daniela lo sabe, by the way.
To me, my phone is essential because I need to be in touch with my boss and my mom, and they used to call me instead of text me.
Okay.
And social networking sites are important to me too because I use WhatsApp and Instagram to talk with my friends.
Hey, Daniela, absolutely. Especially Instagram. Lately, that has been like taking a lot of relevance and importance in terms of the type of social networking. Of course, there are more, but Instagram lately has been kept as one of the favorite ones, right?
Mhm.
Daniela, thank you very much. And Janini, you will be the last to share the perceptions.
All right. Before the pandemic caused by coronavirus, a year ago it started, I closed and blocked all my accounts of social sites like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I only stayed with WhatsApp for essential communication with my family because I was live in Bucaramanga. But after when the quarantine was lifted, I returned to the networks. And phone is essential for it because I have had a passion for it, and it's I have not to carry all the books.
That is saving time and space and also taking care of your back as well. Well, guys, one of the things that I have to agree with you, with everybody, is the fact of how, let's say, positive it has been, but also like from my perspective, and probably I was waiting for some of you, like maybe you would agree with that idea, is that unfortunately it became like, first of all, a must for everybody. Like you have to be connected all the time. Like it is mandatory. If you don't have any of these networks or at least one of them, that somehow you are banished from the different contexts where you are. And second, talking of course from my perspective, is that you are supposed to answer immediately. It doesn't matter when you are being, let's say, reached, because you already have the different social networkings or the different types of communications. You are supposed to answer like this. So of course, we can't deny that it has like a positive impact in our lives, but also it has some downsides, you know, to keep that in mind. Well, guys, remember that as I was telling you at the beginning, let me share once again the whole screen. We are going to be working on a reading exercise. The text, it's a little bit long, but we're going to divide it so we can cover as much as possible and we don't keep the whole session just reading the text. Of course, as you can imagine, I'm going to send you to breakout rooms. The idea that on each group, we have 4 students. In case that probably there are 3, that means that you as a group have to, you know, divide the information that is being presented. The idea, guys, is that on each group, each one of you will decide on the part that you will be reading. Of course, this is all blurry, but all of you have the book. So you wouldn't have a problem trying to decide which is number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So student A will be in charge of reading sections 1 and 2. Student B will be in charge of reading part 3 and 4. Student C, 5 and 6. Student D, 7 and 8. So first thing that you're going to do in your groups will be to divide, let's say, the text into 4 parts. You already know the 4 parts. So you put the letters. You will decide that in your groups. I'm not going to choose that for you. Okay? Guys, on each group, what you're going to do is to complete the chart. The first part of the slide contains the first chart. Let's say that this first part is going to be done individually, okay? On these different spaces, each of you guys is going to write a mini summary of the information that is being presented. Of course, based on the questions that we have already read, we are talking about the impact that social networking has in our lives. The author is talking about, let's say, different scenarios where social networking is impacting his life in particular. Okay, so this first part, well, I'm going to send you to the chat so I don't forget. This first part is about the information collected from the text. It's a very short summary. Of course, you are not going to like write down exactly the same information that is being presented, just summarize it in order to have like a general idea of what each paragraph is about. When you have this information already collected, yes, John, you raise your hand.
Sorry, teacher, just to confirm, what is the page?
48, 49.
Okay, thank
you. Good. So now that you have the chart completed and everybody has the information from the whole text, as a group, you're going to complete the second chart. In this case, everybody has to provide information. Let's say that in the first part, you're becoming experts on that specific part of the test that you have been assigned. On this part now, all of you can provide answer on 3 different aspects that the author is sharing. First of all, talking about his daily routine. Second, talking about the social events like dinner parties and gigs. And the third one, talking about the relationship with his friends and his girlfriend. Remember, all this information is one based on the text. It's not about you for the moment, of course. And the idea is that you see the impact that social media and all these aspects of communication have in these specific moments, let's say, of his life, that of course he is describing in the text. Okay, guys, do you have any questions about the instructions while I create the groups? Give me a moment, please.
No questions.
Okay, thank you, Freddy. I think that we don't have repeated names tonight. There is one group of 3. Yes, the group of 3 participants would be Ana Maria, Andrea, and Stephanie. So you ladies would have to divide one of the parts, but I'm sure it won't be a problem for you because there are 19 participants. Okay, so I'm sure it is not a problem. Let me make sure that you can actually share screen. So that would be the idea. just like to recap the question that John was asking, we're talking about pages 48 and 49. Remember, the first part, a mini summary of the information that is being presented on the paragraphs. Don't forget to divide and to assign, the paragraphs among you guys. And then on the second part, all of you guys as a group are going to provide information to complete these 3 different aspects. Remember, it's not about your personal life. It's about what the author is sharing. Guys, in total, you're going to have 20 minutes. It looks like a lot, but notice that you have to do 2 different moments of the exercise. Everybody has to provide information, okay? When you get back, guys, I'm going to ask you, of course, I'm going to choose from all the groups which one is in charge to share the ideas. And I hope that all of you participate, okay? Questions?
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Perfect, guys. Let's start. Let me know if you have any question eventually.
Hi, teacher.
I heard.
Sorry, I have a problem with my internet, so I couldn't return.
Okay, you are in group 2?
Okay, I go.
No, but I'm asking you, is group 2, right?
I didn't know because teacher, I have a problem maybe for 15 minutes.
Okay, that's a lot.
So the connection is well known for that I couldn't I could
Okay.
react to the meeting.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I think it's group 2. I'm gonna send you.
Okay, teacher, thank you for that.
Welcome.
Teacher, sorry, I lost my connection.
Oh my God, Natalie, it was like 20 minutes ago, right?
No, teacher.
No.
Yo estaba trabajando y se me cayó ahorita. Así como una-
Okay.
Pero yo
Ah.
ya estaba haciendo el trabajo, estaba en el grupo 2.
Grupo 2? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna send you to group 2, sorry. So it was another person that lost connection. Okay, I'm gonna send you.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Well, guys, welcome back. Lois, of course, checking, let's say the progress of your assignment. I decided to add 5 more minutes, as you already noticed, because before those minutes, you hadn't finished the some of you or hadn't finished the second part, or probably had some pending ideas, and then it would be like, like to come here and to ask you, and it would be complete. So I decided to ask like those extra 5 minutes, and I noticed that it was a good idea because then most of you could finish your charts. That was basically the intention. Okay, guys, well, let's start having a look at how you summarize the first part. Remember that the idea was for you guys to assign the 4, well, in total there were like 8, but it was 2 per participant, let's put it like that. And to make a very short summary, well, of course the text was pretty long. It looks like a lot of information, but it's because, the spaces or the boxes are quite small, because I already read that, you already summarized it. And in some cases, there are a few aspects of grammar, but we would have a look at that eventually. Let's begin with group number 2. We have Sarai, Sylvia, Gilbert, and John. Guys, which of you was in charge of the first part, paragraphs 1 and 2?
Me, teacher.
Okay, so let's share the information that you summarized, Sarai, from paragraphs 1 and 2.
Can I read?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
My God, teacher, I have.
Sorry, Sarai, could you repeat?
She said she's having problems or issues with the connection.
No worries, if you want, I can read it. So, well, teacher, student 8 he's about a 28 years old man named Andy Jones, who is constantly connected to his phone and laptop, and he has 750 online friends and followers. He has a beautiful girlfriend and long studying mates. Despite this, he feels lonely and isolated. And the article explores why this might be the case.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, what you wanted to expand about the first part, John?
Can I continue?
Well, but for the moment about the first paragraph, I'm just like.
Okay. No, teacher. I'm not going to say anything else. Yes.
Okay.
That's
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Great. Very good. Actually, that is pretty well summarized. I would like to know if from group number 2, you have something extra to add, or you have pretty much the same. Andrea, Mayra, Natalie, Janini, and Harold.
Yes, teacher. Paragraph 3 and 4.
No. From 1 and 2, you have something extra to add, or pretty much the same that was shared from group number 1.
Hi, teacher. Sorry, I lost my connection again. Did you call?
No, Natalie, not yet. Don't worry.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Welcome.
No, teacher. We first.
Okay, you agree. Well, Andrea, what about paragraphs 3 and 4? Actually, those were the ones that had like most of the information, let's face it. So
yes,
you had to read a lot. I know, Andrea, I know.
Okay. The summary of this paragraph. First, he's connected to internet all day, but he feels alone or lonely in a spirit. Yes, because he said that he stayed with friends, but he feels alone. His phone distanced him from the real people around him. In summary, he has an addiction to his social networks and the internet. I think that this is the summary for 3 and 4 paragraph.
Okay, Andrea, thank you very much. Let's ask from group number 3, Daniela, Freddy, Jennifer, and Diana, if they would like to add to your summary, of they may have exactly the same. Well, Freddy, that was like your part of the text. Anything
Yes,
to add?
maybe that he said that it is easier to make friends online than in real. People spend most of their time being online than interacting with others face to face, and social media, instead of bringing people closer, it drives them further away. Like, those were the issues that he was like discussing in the article.
Absolutely. You know, what probably another group has that he's talking about something that personally that happens to me, and he says that sometimes it is more interesting, like browsing for something. He was like pointing out the example of browsing music to download it, but not actually to listening to it.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Like that's more interesting. You get a book or whatever, you download it, and that's it. After that, nothing else happens. Let's see. Group number 4. What happened with paragraphs 5 and 6? I was going to ask you that, guys. Or probably, or where do you have the information? I'm shocked.
Teacher, we want to spend that Brian copy the information.
Okay. Well, hopefully he can do that in a few minutes. So I'm going to ask to group number 5. We have Andrea, Stephanie, Ana Maria, and Joely. So which of you guys was in charge of that section in particular, paragraphs 5 and 6?
Teacher.
Yes. Andrea.
So I'm going to read, and for paragraph 5, when you use your phone in each moment, you can be less productive. And also, if you have been talking to your friends all day, you don't share in a presential way anymore, only by chat.
Okay.
And in the paragraph 6, people spend a lot of time on their phones, and each moment they are checking social network and don't enjoy the moment that they are living.
Okay, Andrea, good summary from that part. Do you have the same, or would you like to add something else from group number 1, part 5 and 6?
Well, teacher, what I read is that he didn't or he hadn't realized how annoying was when he was in a group and he was using his social media, right? And after he threw in a party, he realized that, well, it's really annoying. So for that reason, he start to think, oh my God, I need to change this behavior. And of course he did.
Absolutely. And also he said that he realized that it was annoying, but like in that moment for him, it seemed like normal, right? Like all those actions, looking for information on Twitter or talking about a gig, like it was normal, which is bad. But okay, that would be another question that I would ask you eventually. And for paragraphs 7 and 8, who was in charge in group number 2? Sorry.
Sure. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, I'm asking about from group number 2, who was in charge of the final paragraphs 7 and 8. Here.
Okay, teacher. We summarized that maybe he wants to try to disappear from social media, but he realized that if he do that, he's gonna missing contact with his friends or on Facebook and co-work. For that, is so difficult for him.
Absolutely. Well, that part was like pretty straight to the point, but let's see if group number 3 has something to add to those final paragraphs. Daniela.
Teacher, about the 7 and 8 paragraphs. Finally, the guy, the Andy, said that the internet for more, o sea, no matter how much you want to leave the internet, it's impossible because your work and life demand it. And finally, the internet, we can have a good communication, but it demands us a lot of time.
Absolutely. He was talking about that. He tried during 6 months, like not to use Facebook, right? But then he was missing invitations. Like somehow he was starting to be like left out of different events. I'm sure that has happened also for some people that they don't want to use any type of social media. But then currently, if you want to know about a service, or even if you want to log into certain pages, they're asking you like, let's say the information that you use to log in for your social media. So actually it is not that easy these days. Of course, you could like, I don't know, live without it, but it's becoming more difficult, like to avoid those spaces. Well, guys, very good summaries. I'm sure that you have already enriched with the information that we have been sharing. On the next chart, I'm sure that you noticed that actually you had to collect information from all the paragraphs. It was not necessarily just like to exactly copy and paste, because there were aspects, for example, on the first one that belong to paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. I would like to ask group number 4. In this case, the impact, you know, that communication media affects his daily routine.
Well, he can do anything without check his phone and before and after.
Without checking. Remember that when we have a preposition, we need ing. Well, I will eventually have a look at the grammatical part. For the moment, we're focusing on the interaction. Okay. Let's see if we can ask group number 2. I went back, sorry, number 5. What else? Other impact for his personal life from group number 4. They're already talking about that. He can't do anything without checking his phone. What else, guys, from group 5? Group 5. Well, Stephanie.
Teacher,
Okay. The telepathy.
About the author's daily routine. Okay, Andy has to constantly check his social networks. His daily routine includes spending a lot of time with his cell phone.
Basically, okay. Pretty much summarizing what was already shared. He's talking about like everything, like email, tweeting, and then at work, like not only talking about his social life, as you already stated, that it is a distraction. Then, of course, in the evening, when he's supposed to be at home, he misses events like going to the pub, and of course, that is having an impact as well on his relationship with his girlfriend, right? What about the second aspect related to social events, group number 1? Gilbert.
Okay, teacher. So the social events. Okay, so when you have meetings, parties, or gatherings with friends or family, you're always connected to the phone. The social networks, leaving aside the interaction with other people, missing out on in-person communication and enjoying the company of others.
Okay, very good. Okay, you're talking about like that, like personal perspective, but you know, actually, this is what is happening in the text. Let's see if group number 2 has something to expand. Janini.
About the events,
Mm-hmm.
well, he was exhausted in one way that always the time he apart for spend with his friends, his friend was stare at the phones tweets.
Okay. Let's not be redundant. Staring at the phone. That is Spanish, be stare. Staring at the phone at the friends' meetings. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to make some changes, of course, but don't worry about those things yet. Get lost. Okay. Sorry. Staring at the phone at the friends' meetings. Get lost. And maybe, comma, like a second idea. Okay. Yeah, well, we already discussed about that, especially the part of the story when he said that he organized the party and everybody was using the phone. And as I was asking John, like for the moment that was perfect, but then he eventually realized that he was annoying, as he already stated. And finally, what about relationships? In this case, I would like to ask Jennifer from group number 3.
Yes, teacher. In our case, we argued that he can
We
believe that.
discussed, Jennifer, argues like you were fighting and
Sorry,
then you
sorry.
cursed at each other,
Sorry, teacher.
which is possible, but I don't think so.
My bad, sorry. He can't believe that even if he has a good job and a beautiful girlfriend, he had never felt so lonely. And about his friendship with others, he said that they rather be in touch using social media instead of speaking or interacting with each other in real life.
Absolutely, that is actually a pretty good summary. Especially the first part, you know, that he just can't believe it. And he's actually feeling lonely, you know, besides all the interaction. Well, let's say that because of the type of interaction that is happening.
I think not
Yes.
only he feels like empty.
He feels empty. Yeah, you know, that also has that like psychological issue inside. Very good, guys. I hope that in your groups you had interesting discussions in order to complete this. Of course, you had to do multiple tasks. Let's put it like that. First, talking about reading and then summarizing the information and then put it in all together. And as I was telling you, I don't visit you while you are on your groups. I want you to feel, let's say, free while you're working on that. Then when we come back here to the calls is when we analyze the information. Well, guys, in our books, let me share that part in particular. On page 48, here we have 5 questions. 4 of them are yes, no questions. And one of them is information question. Here as a whole, I'm going to ask you the yes, no questions because the information question is going to be answered by you guys individually. I think that there are some voices that I haven't heard. Was, of course, we are too many. But Ana Maria, I would like to ask you, after analyzing the article and all the different perspectives that we have already shared, do you know anyone who's like the author of the article?
Teacher, can you repeat, please?
Sure, I'm talking about the first question. You know, we read well, guys, you read, well, I had to read it, of course. We read the article, we analyzed the paragraphs, we classified all the situations. After all this analysis that we provided to the article, do you know anyone who's like the author of the article? Like, do you have a friend or someone that has a similar situation like him?
Yes, I think my friend is like that. It's similar the behavior and
and his feels
His
are
feelings?
his feelings are similar to the article. Yes.
Okay. Like in which part in particular is similar, Anna?
In networks, in social networks, he tried to take away, but he always come back because he just need it, you know. And it's important, the followers and all these things are important.
Okay. I see your point. So he tries like to, let's say, disconnect from the media, but then he comes back.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, for some people that is like an important aspects of their lives, counting likes and things like that. Thank you, Anna. Angelica, I'm going to ask you the second question that we have in here. Do you recognize any of the things he describes in this case in your own life? Any of the aspects that he's describing? Do you see them in your life?
Maybe teacher sometimes.
Well, not all of them, but of course.
No, all the time no. A little times because in my case I live away from my friends and my family, so the way to connect with them is a social networking. So in many cases I miss it, so I check the apps and I feel a little lonely, but it's no time. It's few times.
Okay, just a few times, not like exaggerating. Okay, Angelica, thank you very much. I already told you that the information question I'm going to ask you, all of you guys, but in a moment that here, I'm just asking you the yes, no questions. Diana Lozada, do you think social networking makes people feel anxious and inadequate? Sorry.
Yes, teacher, maybe when people couldn't manage in a good way, that connection with social networking, and it's turned in bad things. Maybe like an addiction in this case, like the author.
Absolutely. Of course, there are other negative results, as you already said, but let's focus on that one. I don't want to expand because I don't want like to steal your ideas for the other question that I'm going to ask. And well, I haven't asked some more people yet, but for the moment, I want to ask this last question to Sylvia. Do you think young people today are lonelier than they were in the past? Why not? This is a good question for the speaking.
Yeah, yes, I think that every day younger people most is away from the real life and only life behind their social media or network and their phones, in not with her family or her real friends, like face to face or in personal touch.
Okay. Okay. Excuse me if you don't mind me asking, Sylvia, are you in your 20s, in your teens? I don't think you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah, I'm 30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
I'm 30. You sound like 17.
Oh,
yeah, might I surprise? I was asking you because I thought that you were a teen and I wanted to know the perspective of a teenager.
I want to be a team, but no.
Happy days. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sylvia.
We are not aging here.
No, yeah, that's the reality.
I
We were
feel
not
very
aging.
surprised. I'm super surprised.
We are all surprised. This is like shocking. This is there a teen in the group? Yeah. Is there a teen in the group? Just because I want to see different perspectives.
Oh, I almost 32, so I think that I have a completely different opinion.
Okay, Mayra. What
So
would
I
it be?
okay, I think that in the past people probably could feel lonely too, but
Okay.
they have the possibility to be present in the present. Now,
Mhm.
everybody in a meeting, when they are sharing time with their friends or family, they are also communicating in their social medias what they were doing, and I think they lost the opportunity to be present with the people in that moment. So I think that it's not about loneliness, it's about to how you connect with others a part of the social media.
Okay, Mayra, interesting point of view. Yes, Freddy.
I think that they are lonelier now than it was before.
You also
Because-
go on that line. Huh.
Yeah,
Why,
because
Freddy?
nowadays when you go to a party or a meeting, you can see people like checking their phones or using headphones and listening to music. And they're not talking or chatting around. So nowadays it's pretty difficult to make friends because of that, because everyone is just checking their phones. And that's why makes the atmospheres very different as it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. There is like this weird moment where everybody is just checking their phones and like, okay,
Yeah.
aren't we supposed to be talking? I agree with you. Well, guys, I already told you that there was one question, but I wanted to know your opinion, which was question number 3. It says, what advice would you give to the author and people like him? I'm going to send you the link to the chat that is going to take you to this Mentimeter, okay? When you click on the link, there is a box that is going to appear, you know. What advice would you give? I'm not asking you to be like, let's say, technical, because of course we are just providing our opinion based on our experience, on our age. Of course, that is more like the intention, but let's think of, let's put it like useful advice, you know. My intention, of course, is to see how would you describe something like this, because you can just say, talk to people. Okay, that's great advice. No, but let's try to provide something that is actually useful for a situation like this. Notice that the guy is talking about all aspects of his life, not only talking about work, he's talking about relationship with his friends, with his well, in this case, his girlfriend, the impact that is having to how he feels every day. That would be like the idea. What advice would you give to the author and people like him? Guys, could you please let me know if the link is working?
Yes, teacher, it's working.
Yes, teacher.
Great. If you wanna write down your name would be great. If you wanna keep it anonymous, no problem, okay? I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm going to start checking the messages, well, the posts that you sent, but I really, really hope that all of you, 20 people, sent your answers, okay? I'm not gonna interrupting you anymore. 5 minutes starting now. Okay, let's have a look at some of your answers. I know that some of you are still like creating them. Well, a difficult situation, social media becoming also almost an addiction, and of course affecting every single aspect of our lives. Let's see the piece of advice that you would provide to the author and people who are actually, let's say, suffering, air quotation, a situation like that. Focus on your goals and work for it. Don't waste your time in things that don't have importante, and only spends our times. I think that you mean importance, right, Daniela? Instead of importante?
Yes, teacher, correct. Important.
Okay, and you know, in this case, spend actually doesn't have a negative connotation. I suggest that instead of spend, use waste. That is about spending, but has a negative connotation, like using your time in a negative way.
And waste your time. Okay.
I would go for that one, right? Let's continue. That they try to live a bit of real life and enjoy the things that are in front of them. Interesting. I would tell him that it is better to enjoy the moments without using a cell phone. Memories are the only thing we have to make us feel better in bad situations. If you don't enjoy good moments, how can you have good memories? Oh, that is something that you can print on a t-shirt. If you don't enjoy good moments, comma, how can you how can you have good memories? That is a nice way to end, you know, the idea with that question, and a really good one. You have to find the balance in order to have a better life quality. Nice. Well, let's see Sylvia's. I think it is important to disconnect from the networks and social media often. Share more time with our friends and family face to face. And enjoy their company. Also spend more time in nature, breathing fresh air, and sharing with ourselves. That is a good piece of advice, you know, in spending time in nature. Nowadays, some people don't think of that at all. Let's see. It will be hard, but you need to turn off the cell phone notifications and be focused on your tasks. Yes, that is a hard one. I would suggest, I have been doing that, like one app at a time, you know, like not all of them at the same time. It would be like a very complicated thing to do. One at a time, and actually, you know, it works. Let's see this one. Try to make a detox from social media and go to therapy. Also, he could try to make some friends, starting new routines in different spaces, and disconnect with his usual friends because they are not a good influence for a detox period. Okay, the ones that during the party and during the dinner were using the media, right? Disconnect with his usual
Yes, disconnect
friend.
from them.
Because
I don't know, I was thinking that he was probably having an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have something like that, you have to disconnect from all that people who always do what you don't need to do.
Of course, that happens when people are trying to stop drinking alcohol or smoking. Why not to do the same with people that keep on using the social media? What idea, Mayra? Interesting. Start with Buck's own life. He can't wait for changes come always from the other people. I need help. Yes.
That is not dogs, that is his. Start with his own life.
You said that is not Bugs. It is what? Sorry, Janini.
His.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking that is a kind of idiom that I don't know. Okay, his own life. Can't wait for changes. He can't wait for changes to come. Always from the other people. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we can't, let's say, blame the other for what we do, right? That is also the other side of the situation. Like probably they are part of the addiction, but we can't blame the others at the end of the day. This one says, limit your time on social media and other communication technologies. Prioritize face-to-face communication, engage in hobbies and activities that don't involve technology, and seek professional help if necessary. From all the points of view possible. Good. Try to make a detox from social media, go to therapy. Also, he could try to make some friends, start new routines. Okay, the detox periods. I already read that one. I would like the author to take some time away from the social media and also to go to a therapist, since he made clear that checking his phone and scrolling through is very frequent, I assume. Likewise, he gotta learn manners and respect others' times, especially when he's talking about that the people are waiting for him in the pub and he just doesn't appear in that place. Here I have two pieces of advice. Go to a psychologist to find out the reason for your addiction and try to meet new people outside your circle of friends. People you meet without using social networks, but you said that you have two. I see one. Go to a psychologist to find out the reason for your my eyes. It's because I'm tired. I'm sorry. That's embarrassing. The first one going to the psychologist and the second meeting new people outside the circle, right? And people you meet without using social networks. These days, well, actually, it is not impossible, it's that we are so used to these apps for meeting new people these days. Let's see this one. We're about to finish. You should try to find a balance between the use of your devices, your social networks, and living a healthy life, both physically and emotionally. You need a real space with real people who loves you. Okay, sin la S. People is already plural. I believe it's a normal behavior nowadays in society, but I think technology is a tool and we need to know and be aware about its use. It's hard because life demands you to use it, but we can do small changes and just enjoy the moment. Excellent. Just a little think of a spelling. They would be low case, but absolutely, when you finish your job, don't check your emails from work. That is why probably you remember, guys, that I told you that I don't check emails on weekends. That if you have any question, I would gladly answer your questions on Mondays. I try to separate, in my case, the professional things from my personal life, and it has worked perfectly fine. Sorry, I already read this one. This will be the final one. He must try to disconnect from social networking, taking a break and trying to find a hobby, a sport, or any activity that allows being connected with himself and knowing other people in real life. Very good. Basically, if we summarize the pieces of advice that you share, guys, talking about, of course, disconnecting, finding help, probably going to the therapist or to a psychologist. And some of you already pointed out that it is not just about the emotional thing, going to natural places or even exercising. That was more like the implicit idea of some of you, would be a good way to do that part. Very good, guys. Well, it is about time. Remember that I will upload this information in the virtual campus. Don't forget, guys, to check the Moodle aspect. You are already enrolled on that part. And guys, as usual, thank you very much. Any question, let me know tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Take care, everybody.